This is the first time I speak in English, or I have a message in English, and so I hope you have a bit patience with me. I have it all written down here, but so that's why I maybe read down a bit more than in this morning. So I heard that you had your 5th anniversary some weeks ago. I saw the clip about the church, and I have to say I was in ICF Stuttgart in 2011 in the Paris club, and that was the first time I was there. And when I see this now, I have to say, oh wow, you did a big step in these few years, so congratulations to this. Dan Schmid, actually, he is a Swiss man, like us, and he lives 10 minutes away from our home, so that's very, very funny. He's a Swiss guy, and he lives near the Rhine Falls like us. And today he's preaching in our church, and we are preaching here. So he has a very short way today, and we did the long way today. And my husband, he is, I think he's very jealous because he is not so good in speaking English, and he told me to have this message. But I think he will be jealous because I heard that international people always have a big response to the message, and yes, okay. And he actually loves this. That German and Swiss people aren't like the international, so this. I think he will be a bit jealous that I have such a big response from you. Thank you already. Again, to introduce us a bit, we are 100% Swiss. So we grew up in Emmental. Maybe you know the cheese, Emmental. We are from there where the cheese comes from, the real Emmental, not the German Emmental or the Dutch Emmental, the real cheese Emmental. That's where we come from. My husband, he's a farmer, actually. He grew up on a farm, yes. And I grew up in a dairy, you say that, where you do the cheese or something? Yes, I grew up there, so we are 100% Swiss people. We didn't bring chocolate, so I'm sorry. Yes. And the Rivella, we were thirsty yesterday, so we didn't bring Rivella. You know Rivella? What is? That's a national drink, so yeah, you can't buy this in Germany, I think. No, I really forgot it. Next time. Ask Dan. Okay, we are in the series The Good Life. And in the good lives, you have the 10 Commandments. And today, there's a special one. It's the 5th commandment. It is from to honor your parents. And first, I want to show you a picture. It can help you a bit to maybe for the next Sundays. So you have big pens here. Okay. So you heard about the 4 last commandments. Dan and Karin, I think they told you about that. And it's not to have other gods beside God, or to have your Sabbaths, and to honor God. It's about, the 4 commandments are about God, to honor God and to lift God up and to have time with God. So it's all about everything who goes up. And in the 5th commandment, it is the last commandment who goes up. It is to honor your parents as God, authorities. Huh? Yes. It's everyone you lift up or who is above you. And the following commandments, they go around you. So you don't steal, you don't kill everyone, or it's all the commandments who are around you, the horizontal ones. These are the following commandments. Why I show you this is it's a good thing because you see the cross and it reminds us of Jesus, what Jesus said in Matthew. And we go to the Bible, to Matthew 22. A man asked Jesus in Matthew 22, "Master, which is the great commandment in the law?" Jesus said unto him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and the great commandment." So this is all this, the first. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So the first is to love God, and the second is to love everyone who is around you, including yourself. This picture, I hope it helps you to understand the commandments. We learn from Jesus that the great commandment is to love God with all my heart, with everything I am. And the vertical one is, not the horizontal one, is to love my neighbor as myself. And we see this is a godly thing. And when we go through the commandments, it seems a bit like, you come under pressure. It's written, you shall not steal, you shall not kill. It's a bit like pressure. When I tell my husband, you have to bring the rubbish out, you should clean the house, you should clean the kitchen. He's under pressure, and he's I don't want to do this. Okay. And if you read those commandments like this, you have to, you should. You don't like to do that, okay? You don't like to do those commandments. But if you love Jesus, if you love God with all your heart, and you want to be like Him, I think you automatically want to do all this, what God says to us. You want to do all these commandments. Or if you love God with all your heart, you don't have to think about, shall I steal or shall I not? But because you love God, it isn't a question that you steal or something like that. Because you love God, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Because you wouldn't do something that hurts God. So simply, no. I would like to read you this commandment in Exodus 20, what we are speaking about. I had two verses, one of the Good News Bible and one from the King James. In the Good News, they speak from respect. Respect your father and your mother, so that you may live a long time in the land that I am giving you. And in the same verse, but in the King James Version, it's written, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. What I want to tell you is that respect and honor is the same thing. To respect someone and to honor someone is the same thing. So, what tells us this verse? It tells us that when we honor our father, our mother, or if we honor everyone above us, our authorities or our parents, God, if we honor them, we receive something. God blesses us, or He promises us that our days will be long. And our land, which the Lord gives us, He will give us land. And who doesn't want to live long, and who doesn't want to live in the land that God promises? I think it's so easy commandment. You just have to love or you honor your parents and you live long. So simple, okay? So now I understand that not everyone can honor his parents. Not everyone grew up in a family that was warmly and was kind, and maybe you don't even know your parents. Maybe they divorced. Maybe you didn't see your daddy for years. So I think this topic isn't easy for everyone. And you can't say this easily. Oh, yes, I honor my father and my mother. Maybe they did mistakes. They hurt you. Maybe they hit you. They beat you. But I think it is more important to think about how I can love God and how can I honor God and how can I follow Jesus. And if you follow Jesus, I think it needs time. But one day you will honor your parents. Maybe now it seems very strange for you, but I think this will come. Respect thy father and thy mother, or honor your father and your mother, is the topic today. And maybe it's the first step we need when we can't honor our parents, is the first step just to be in a mood to honor. Just to say to us, oh, I want to do that. I can't in this moment, but I want to go there. And one time I want to do that. That could be one step in the right direction to honor your parents. Because it's one thing I would give you today, or tell you today, is it doesn't matter what your parents did wrong. It doesn't matter what they did wrong, because everyone does something wrong, even you, even me, everyone. We are just human beings. But the thing is, it depends on what you do well before God. This is the main thing. Your parents, they do mistakes. If once you are a parent, you do mistakes. You can't be perfect. No one can be perfect. Let's go to another point. Abraham. Abraham, a big man from the Bible. We look up to him. He became a big man. He was a role model for us, or he is a role model for us Christian, a man of God. But it doesn't mean that he did everything well. The story starts good. God chooses Abraham and promises that he will give him a land that he's going to show him. And he will give him many descendants, and they will become a great nation. But then Abraham went to Egypt, and then we read in Genesis 12. When he was about to cross the border into Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, "You are a beautiful woman. When the Egyptians see you, they will assume that you are my wife, and so they will kill me and let you live. Tell them that you are my sister. Then because of you, they will let me live and treat me well. So Abraham, the man of God, he lied. He lies. What about God? What did God? Did he tell Abraham, oh, now you did a mistake, you can't get the land I promise you? No. No. God promised him the land. Abraham did a mistake. He's a human being. Everyone makes mistakes. Even your parents. Even you. So Abraham did. He called him out to do something. Important is that Abraham did what God told him. He didn't give up because he did a mistake. He was on the way with God. He didn't say, "Oh, I made a mistake. I'm bad now." No. He knew that God gave him his promise. And Abraham honored God. And he was doing what he was mentioned to do. Abraham honored God. And in this story of Abraham, we see that Abraham is a role model. As a child, our parents should be role models for us. And suddenly we see, oh, they do mistakes. It's not good. But even Abraham did mistakes. But it doesn't change anything on the fact that I shall honor my parents, even when they do mistakes. So God promised me a long life when I honor my parents. How I do this? How can I honor my parents? We forget for 1 minute that we maybe can't honor our parents. We want to look on this, how I could honor my parents with little things. The word honor means in Hebrew kavod. And kavod is the same as a word like weight. So you give weight on something. And if you see your life like a scale, this is a scale, or can you show us the picture from the scale? This is a scale, okay? And you have different things in your life. Maybe that could be the work. It's a big weight, work. You have a lot of hours you give to your work. Maybe you have your family, it's too, a big weight. And now you have to think about it, how much weight you give to your parents. Is it just a little bit? It's maybe it isn't. It's no weight. Maybe you give big weight or much weight. How much weight you give your parents? How much honor you give your parents in your life balance? If you have time to spend money, if you have time to do sports, if we have time to build houses or something, go shopping, should we have some time for your parents? Just some hours, maybe, in the month. I will show you a new picture. Life is like a circle. I do something, maybe you can recognize what it is. No? Now, a baby. Babies, they doesn't do anything when they get birth. They shit. And they try to drink, and they sleep. And they cry. They do nothing else. They need parents' help. They need parents' help. They can't do anything without the parents. Then they have no teeth. They can't eat anything. They can't walk. They need a stroller. They need pampers or diapers. Say that. Then they learn to walk. They go to school. Then they go to university. Maybe they have a job. And they grow up about 30, 40. Suddenly, you recognize that your parents need your help. Suddenly, you don't want to spend time with your parents. Suddenly, your parents want to spend time with you. In the middle of the life, everything changes. When I go to my parents, my mother, she's very good in computer and things like that, and she cooks jam and everything what is in the garden, she puts in a glass. And she needs, she wants to write them on etiketten. Label, yeah, she wants to label them. And she has every label she has on the computer. But every time she changes a label, she saves it on another file. I don't know. Every time I go home, it's the file isn't there. Yes. Okay. So I do this for her. I look to the computer and I look where are the labels, and I do new labels and I print them out and everything. That's just a little thing. But for my mother it is very important. These are just 2-3 minutes, but with these 2-3 minutes I honor my parents. So life goes on. Suddenly, your parents, they lose the teeth. Maybe they can't walk anymore. Some need diapers. And suddenly, a wheelchair. And it seems that they get like a baby. They need your help. Suddenly, your parents need your help, not you need your parents' help. And this is what I like to ask you today. It is maybe your parents, they hurt you. Maybe your parents, they didn't look after you. Maybe you don't even know your parents. I don't know what your story is, but important is that you come to a mood to honor your parents, to think about how you could honor your parents. Because suddenly it can be changing so fast. And I ask you to think about it, how you can honor your parents before it is too late. Even Jesus, he was on the cross. Even Jesus, he was on the cross. He hung there. He suffered. And do you know what he did? He asked John to look after his mother. This is one of the last things Jesus did. He looked after his mother. And I want to read you down this verse in John 19. Jesus saw his mother and disciple he loved standing there. So he said to his mother, "He is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "She is your mother." From that time, the disciple took her to live in his home. So Jesus, he made sure that his mother has a home. Even when he suffered at the cross. It was one of the last thing he said or he did. And we often have an excuse not to spend time with our parents, not to help them. But Jesus knew he's going to die, and he makes sure that someone is looking after his mother. And again, Jesus shows us how to treat mother and father. And I want to I ask you to take just one thing out of this message. Maybe it is to spend a bit time with your parents. Maybe it is just to come to that point that you can say, yes, I like to honor my parents. Or maybe it is to really support your parents. Or maybe it is just to be thankful that you had parents. They looked after you when you get birth. Just to be thankful. You have these praying cards on your seat. And maybe this is one thing you can write down. And now you have a time to think about it, what you can do, what is your next step. And now I'd like to pray, and after that we have the band who's coming up. Heavenly Father, I thank you that you gave us these 10 commandments. And Jesus, I thank you that you told us how to love you and how to love our neighbors and how to love ourselves. And Jesus, I ask you to help us to forgive our parents, to forgive their mistakes, and to see over these mistakes. Help us to honor our parents. Help us to honor everyone around us. Help us to honor our boss. Help us to honor you. Thank you, Lord, that you love us and that you help us to forgive. And thank you that you forgave us. Amen.